Hey everyone, welcome back to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps anytime on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. Please subscribe before you leave. I would really appreciate that. For you, those of you joining us live tonight, thanks for taking the time out of your evening to be here. I am Tamara Ford, and I love a good TV show, and I love a good book, of course. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co-host Lisa. Welcome back, Lisa.
Hello, Tamara. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be back here again. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author and I'm also the founder of Indies United Publishing House. And I love all things pop culture. And if you want to find me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author.
Awesome. So, you guys know the drill. Before we get going, we want to remind you that we want your participation in this conversation. So, if you are listening live right now on YouTube or Facebook, hit us up in the comment section. Actually, let us know where you're watching from, and we'll say hi to you. If you're
Yeah,
catching this on a replay, you can still comment on any platform, or you can leave us a voicemail using the link in the show notes. We do want to hear from you and possibly include your comments on an upcoming episode. So if you are new here, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
absolutely. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Yeah, no scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around. Huge spoiler alert, of course. Everything from here back,
Yeah,
not forward.
we're not watching forward and it's killing me. Okay,
I
sorry.
know. I know, me too. But if you're cool with that, this is the place for you. And we are going to jump right on in with our first episode to talk about.
Wait a
So,
minute. Which one are we going to, we're doing fear first, right?
absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. I think we're going to do the one that we generally like first.
Okay, that's fair. That is very fair. So,
Yes.
where do you want to start on this?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a lot going on, but not. But first, let me just, okay, I'll start with the new character. I
Poor
really liked
bastard.
Will. I
I
did
know.
like him,
I
and I
did.
was excited to see what could become until they pulled a season 6
Yeah,
and
well,
killed him.
okay, I'm going to let you know from about as soon as they got back to the to Strand's hideout, I knew. I'm sitting there screaming at the TV going, "Will, get away from the wall. Get away from the edge." I knew
I
he was going
know.
to flip him over. I knew he was.
I know. I knew it too. I'm like, there's nothing good can come of that. Absolutely nothing.
No.
So,
And
uh,
Strand has become his full self. The he is now king turd of shit mountain and he loves it. And he's not about to share that with anybody.
oh, I know. It's a mess. Like, he is the asshole that we always knew him to be.
Mhm.
But I
I'm
feel
getting
like
some
I'm
Negan vibes going on here.
I'm
Okay.
torn on his character, right? Like, I like the actor, so I think I really want to like
Yeah.
this character. I really want to hold out hope that this character will not like forever be the douchebag. But we got the glimpse at the end of last season. We're like, oh no, what is he doing? Right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and even the thing of it is if he had not done a lot of the things that he did, they would not be under, nuclear ash at this point.
Right?
You
Y-
know, because it was more important to him to be the hero than it was to actually stop the event, I guess is the
mhm.
best way to say it. And he didn't do the things he should have done. And then, and at the end of last season we saw him tell the story and say that he was Morgan. And then
Mhm.
at the last instant he's like, "Oh, wait. I'm straight. I'm the bad guy." I'm owning it.
Yeah, he is, and he's been okay. So Erica just left a comment. She hasn't watched. Oh, I got the wrong comment. Here we go. She didn't watch from the beginning. She said, "Are we supposed to like Strand?" I told her in the comments, "No, I mean, he's always kind of been this douchebag, right?
He has
From
moments
the
of he has these small moments of I'm not gonna call it goodness, but where he's not
no.
completely selfish,
Right.
okay?
He's like
And
that coworker that everyone hates, but everyone knows that they need him. And
mhm.
every once in a while, he'll do something thoughtful that makes you think, "Oh, he's not that bad. There's something in there."
No,
And then he
I've never
turns
thought
around
that.
and goes, "Bump that."
I've never thought, okay, so Strand is good to the people he likes, that he cares about. So Alicia, okay?
He wasn't good
But
to her. Last season, he played her.
he did, but he still honestly, I do think him pushing her away was part self preservation, and partly because he didn't want her to see him as the bad guy. He wants to remain good in her eyes, and if she saw what he was going to do, she wouldn't approve. And so he pushed her away, you know. But and the one guy, the boyfriend he had there for a brief period of time when they were at the stadium, he was good to him. But again, it was still selfish. So
Yeah.
everything is done from a selfish point of view. Even when he's trying to be the hero, it's not done because he's trying to be selfless or good. It's just he's trying to appear good.
Yeah, he
So
everything he does is for with a motive, which doesn't make him, I guess, likable at all because that's what we know we know that's what he's doing. So, and everyone else knows that's what he's doing. So,
mhm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's just he, he's not how he's behaving right now does not surprise me at all.
No, I think we all expected it to be quite frank. It's just that I was hoping that, it wouldn't be this severe. I feel like this is a more severe version of Strand.
Hmm. But not surprising.
Yeah.
And he's gonna escalate.
Oh, yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
at the end of this episode, he killed Will just to make a point. He's like, now
mhm,
she'll never forgive me. There.
yeah. Well, and he even knew that Will was someone that was special to her. She left him a note.
Hmm.
Not Strand, not anybody else. She left him a note. And I think, as ridiculous as it would have been for him to expect her to leave Strand a note, I
Hmm.
think that hurt him. I think it hurt him a lot.
Okay. Well, so let's just back up a little bit. This is months and months after the explosion. We don't know
Mhm.
exactly how long. We know that Will has been away from that group for 50 days, but that doesn't tell us how long they've been down there.
I think he said 6 months.
Okay, I didn't hear that. So 6 months. No one knows if anyone else is alive at this point.
Mhm.
She doesn't know if he made it, vice versa, all around. Anyone in their group, they have no idea how they fared unless they were with them. So to
Mhm.
me, it would not make sense for her to leave a note for Strand, and she doesn't even know if he's alive. Wouldn't you leave a note for someone that you think is alive and can help you?
Right. And I do, but again, we're talking about Strand, and he's very self-centered, and everything is about him. And I really think that in just Strand being Strand, that the fact that she left a note for Will but not for him, and as stupid as it sounds, I think it hurt him because again, it's all about Strand as far as he's concerned.
If that is the reason why he flipped out even more than he already had, then that's like not winning him any points at all. It's negative points.
Yeah.
Like that reasoning is so eighth grade.
Mhm.
Like this is reality. Like we've been out here, the world has gone to shit, and you worried about getting left a note?
It's Strand.
Yeah. Hmm.
Really, think on his personality. Think about him. He is. it's always about him. It doesn't, I mean, you know, when they were trying to save, to stop the nuclear bombs, it wasn't about Morgan or saving the baby or saving anybody. It was about him being the savior, you know?
Well, now he's not even trying to be the savior. Now he's just trying to prove that I'm better than everyone. I
Mhm.
am the winner. I am the best. Look at me in all of my splendor. Nah,
Right.
that's what he wants to do.
I'm getting some definite Negan vibes.
Yeah. Um
I mean, think about it. He's gathering this group of people. They're, bowing and scraping to him. That moment when like he's brought the strawberries, you know,
like a
and he
king,
sits
bring
there.
me my fresh fruit,
That's
please.
right. You know, I really think he is setting himself up to be, the king of his own little serfdom. And, because he even says sharing power, that's what weakens you, look, thinking about other people's opinions, that weakens you. So he's setting himself up as, the God King here. And I can see him taking a really dark road, if anyone, well, obviously, and this kid didn't even really cross him. Will didn't, he just
No.
had Alicia's affection and best interest at heart, and Strand straight up killed him.
I think he was jealous that and it's weird because I don't think he likes Alicia like that. You know what I
No.
mean? I think they're more like friends and family, but I
Hmm.
got a very jealous vibe or shocked vibe that he was like, "You love her."
Yeah.
And he was like very like put out by it, even
Hmm.
though it makes no sense because it's not like he wants her like that. So what's the problem?
Okay, he's like a 2-year-old. It's mine, and even if I don't want it, it's still mine. And if you want it, it's really mine. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's not that he wants Alicia, it's just he doesn't want to share her with anybody.
Mm.
He's never liked anyone else really giving her attention. He was showing signs of jealousy when, you know, um, oh, the one kid that was painting with Alicia. I can't remember his name now. Was paying attention to her, and you could see he didn't like it.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see
I'm
what
going to agree with
comment.
you, Erica. He's miserable and he wants everyone else to be as miserable as he is. I agree with that. Absolutely. You know,
Yeah. Uh-oh, I
so
keep clicking on the wrong comments. Lord have mercy. This software is putting me through the most today. What is
it
happening?
really is.
Okay. It's giving me the flux. I'm like, I will
Oh,
win. I'm gonna be like Strand over this software. I will fucking take you down before I let you take me down. That's how it is.
but I did find it interesting. I mean, he's got all these, as he was showing off his fiefdom to Will. It's like the people doing yoga and everything else, and it was kind of almost surreal, wasn't that?
Yeah, just like all of like these pockets of places that are like scarily normal. It's pockets
Hmm.
of it all over. And he's created that in, Fear the Walking Dead. And it's like they got their own little taste of CR or, of Commonwealth,
Yeah.
their own version on their own scale, right? But it
Yeah.
was like, what's happening in here? It's like, oh, we've got all the things. Come
Hmm.
on in. It's party in here. All you have to do is kiss my boots.
Yeah. And he absolutely requires that part. Now I gotta say, and I know you guys are gonna tell me his name here in just a minute. The guy um that the place belonged to originally before Strand came in. It kind of surprises me that he's just happily going along with everything. There's no fight to him. There's no, you know, awkwardness. He's just like, "Yep, you're the boss. That's it. Okay, sure." You know, he
You
didn't even
know
say
what?
anything like push Will over the edge.
When Strand saw him and had that first conversation with him, he knew he was beta material.
Oh, I know.
So, of course, he definitely fell in line. He's like, I'm cool being with the number one, right?
Yeah. And I mean,
because that's what he seems like.
and I guess from his point of view, I mean, Strand's interested in, preserving like the art and music and everything else like he is. So maybe, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I've got a strong man now, so I'm good. And but yeah, the fact that he didn't even, because when we first met him, he kind of presented as, I mean, a quiet guy, but not a bad person, just, an introvert. And but the fact that he didn't even say not even a shocked look when Strand flipped him over the edge of the wall. Not a
Well, they've put
word.
people out before, according to conversations they've had, on screen. Like he's escorted people out before.
Well,
He's
yeah, but
probably killed people before,
yeah,
so it's probably not new.
right. I mean, we heard about him escorting people out. No one ever said they were escorted over the wall. You know, so
I think the man ain't dumb. Okay,
yeah,
that's what I think. And if I was working alongside someone that was as volatile as Strand is, I probably would have kept my mouth shut too.
yeah,
Especially if I am not as strong as he is, or I don't command the people like he does, I
hmm
would have just not said anything. But I
well,
definitely wouldn't have strolled up and stood right next to him so he could push my ass over next.
right. Well, and the thing of it is now that Strand is, basically, he's built a motive, The Walking Dead. Um, I don't think he has any interest in going out anymore, getting anything else. As far as he's concerned, they have everything they need right there. And, I think he's just closing ranks and he's like, all right, whoever's here is here and we don't need no more. This is it.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it looked like they had a good amount of people there, right? It looked like they had a good
Mhm.
community and they don't need more people unless, like you said, what can you do for me?
Right.
What can
Well,
you contribute?
it does kind of, I am kind of curious, like why he was even sending people out and why they brought Will back because, the way Strand acts, it surprises me that they were so willing to bring him back, unless he was looking for someone in particular. It.
Yeah. I think he's looking for his old people. Like I think he is looking, like they said, why are you taking pictures of all of these people? He blamed
Mhm.
it on, oh, people here are looking for people, but so is he.
Yeah,
So is he. So he probably says, "Hey, bring back people because they could be Morgan. It could be, you
yeah.
know,
Oh, and
anyone else."
he would love it if it was, they brought in, Morgan down, at the bottom of, surviving, and just say, "Hey, look, I'm the king. I did better than you." you
I
know.
know.
I mean, he's living for that moment. He's living for that moment.
Oh yeah, he's waiting on it, guaranteed, definitely.
Mhm.
And that doesn't surprise me at all. And I think now though his sights are on figuring out what's up with Alicia though. For now
Right. Well, we know
until
she left a note that said Padre. I mean,
yeah.
so is that a person or a place? The way Will was talking, it sounds more like a place.
Yeah, sounds like a place or well, I wish I could
Code
remember
name.
his exact words. Like it could have been like a thing as well. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
Well,
Uh
I'm kind of, because of the map and everything else, I'm kind of wondering if it might not be like a code name
mhm.
or something.
Mhm.
And
Well,
so, and it appears that if Alicia had enough time to write a note and tape it, to the podium, she had enough time to paint the pictures. So
mhm.
you got to wonder what it was that caused her to bail out of that, and everyone else bail out of there, cuz honestly, it's not a terrible place to stay. There had to have been something going on for
Yeah,
everyone
the
to leave.
above ground it was a mess, but below
Mhm.
it was still intact. Then when they
Yeah,
walked in there was nothing wrong. So,
nothing was taken. There weren't any dead bodies.
yeah.
Um, nothing was left, uh, I mean, the beds weren't made, but there was still a lot of stuff there. So it's like everyone voluntarily just got up and left, but left all their stuff. It's just weird,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, speaking of that painting, I took another look at it and I'm like, that was a very detailed painting. Like, that's not
Hmm.
something you do in a rush and leave.
Right. Yeah, that was, you know, the two images there,
Yeah.
and it kind of looks like she's going into a worm. The person's going into a wormhole or something.
Yeah. Following maybe Padre? I
Maybe,
don't know.
you know.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, all the things, right? Like, there's so many possibilities. We just won't know until they decide to show
Right.
us.
Well, and so I mean, I do know from the sneak peeks for next week, they're going to flip over to Morgan, and the baby, and what's her name? Uh, Not Grace,
Grace, yeah.
and then so my guess is the first couple episode is going to be a singular focus one on the main characters. So this week it was Strand, next week it's Morgan. My guess is Alicia will be either the next one or the following one.
I think it may be longer because I could see them totally using that as like not clickbait per se, but kind of drag out the plot a little
Hmm.
bit with the whole in search of Alicia and figuring out who Padre is. I could totally see him like finding her at the mid-season finale
Yeah,
or something. Um
possibly.
yeah, we still don't forget we still have the people that went underground.
Right.
Um what June and John
June.
Dory's dad?
Yeah. Well, John Dory, technically.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
the senior.
Exactly. But like so we have more things to see.
Hmm.
I think they're just gonna use it as, just drag us along a little bit.
Hmm.
And I don't know, Karina said something in the comments earlier that maybe the actress was pregnant. That's why she was not in the beginning of this season. Maybe. And if so, that makes a great reason why that she would show up midway.
Right. Well, and
I
I
don't
I
know.
know that they have like an overall arc, but they don't have. Apparently, they're basically still writing the scripts as the seasons progress.
Mm,
So they have some flexibility there and what
yeah.
other things happen and stuff. So I, here's the thing though. I really don't know that I like this new nuclear waste thing going on.
No?
I still have issues with it. I mean, one, when is this taking place? I mean, now, granted, we don't, we know at least at this point that the devastation wasn't extremely widespread because Strand's, high rise, it wasn't that far from, uh, ground zero, so to speak. And, but at the same time, this is you should have been able to see this for states away at this point. And the fact that no one's talking about it, we don't know where they are in the timeline, but you think this, we've got the CRM, and we've got the Commonwealth, and Portland and Oklahoma or Omaha. All those
Mm,
places are, not, or Omaha isn't that far from where they're at. So,
okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Apparently that they had always decided that they were going to have this, you know, big nuclear bomb go off, that this was part of the plan. It wasn't just something that they went, "Oh, let's just do that tomorrow." Um, but I don't know. I just don't really like it.
I don't dislike it, but I hope that by the end of the season, we've kind of like time jumped or moved forward from it because I don't want two seasons of this, landscape.
Yeah.
Uh, it's definitely interesting to see, the various states of the walkers and stuff. So that like changes things up a little bit, but excuse me,
Now,
just time jump us out of it and I'll be good.
Well, Katrina says that they're 6 years behind The Walking Dead in the timeline. And if that's the case, nobody noticed? Nobody noticed. Sorry.
I don't
Nobody
know.
noticed the bomb go off.
Lisa, look, I know you want like facts of how things work in the real world to match up with this fiction world, but they aren't doing it and they don't care.
I'm just, some things just, it's a, they set off nukes, man. There'd be earthquakes. And I mean, it would change it would change weather patterns. All right. And all sorts of things. And it's driving me crazy because if they are 6 years behind The Walking Dead, oh my God, nobody noticed.
I know. And I do like that alone supports. Well, I heard something. I don't know how true it is because I'm not good with following spoilers like that, but I saw something today. Some article had mentioned that Morgan's character is going back to The Walking Dead at some point. So, if that is the case and that is true, not like he's going to stay there, but he'll appear there,
Hmm.
then they will do a time jump this season to catch them up if
They'll
that
have to
happens.
because there's only how many more episodes left of the Walking Dead? What, 10?
No, it's more than that. It's like an extended final season.
Oh, okay.
So,
But even still, I mean, they're
yeah.
gonna have to, if they're 6 years behind, you know, they're
I
gonna have to
know.
do a big time jump.
Oh, yeah. Well, they did on The Walking Dead. They did a pretty big time jump before.
Hmm.
So it's possible to just do it just fine, and we'll be like, good, we're done with it. Because like I said, I really don't want two seasons, and for them to live through it like and not seem like it's dragging on and on. They would have to do a time jump. There's no way around
Yeah,
it because that kind of thing, that kind of event doesn't happen and it's over in a season.
right. Well,
So,
then, I mean, for I don't know. I mean, personally, if I managed to escape the first round and was essentially unharmed, there's no way that I would be sticking around that area. I would just be beelining one direction as fast as I could away from there.
mhm.
You know, I'm also a little irritated that the fact that, they're all wearing, protective art, suits and everything else, but their horses are fine. Okay.
Oh, I know. I thought about that. I'm like, wait, you guys can't breathe the air, but the horses are chill? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, the horses are just tra-la-lying around and they're not getting sick and keeling over.
Yeah. That would not be what's I mean, acid, the acid rain, the radiated rain alone would kill these horses. They should have ulcers and, other disfigurements, and these are really healthy looking horses.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm again, I realize it's not reality, but come on, guys.
I know. It's a lot of suspension of disbelief going on with these shows across the board. And, I had posted up Erica's comment earlier. I do agree with Erica that the inconsistencies in the universe as a whole between all the shows, it does make it aggravating to like watch because it's not easy to connect the dots
Mhm.
being like in different timelines, different, I mean, just everything about them don't really sync up. And I'm curious to see if they can actually sync them up and make them make sense by the time, like, for example, World Beyond is going to be done. I
Mhm.
feel like at some point we're going to see Jadis. So make that make sense, right?
Right.
She's from another timeline. So just make it make sense. All of it. What I want at the end of Fear season is for them to be caught up with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And then at the end of World Beyond, I want the other two shows in the same timeline as that so that it makes sense going
Well, and
forward.
they had them all in a similar timeline there for a little bit, and then The Walking Dead jumped again,
Yeah.
and left The Walking Dead behind because they had to
Hmm.
sync up for Morgan to get over there. The Walking Dead had to sync up with The Walking Dead so that Morgan could move over.
Yeah, they touched for a minute. It's like they kissed
Mhm.
and then they separated again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, So, but they really should have kept things a bit more consistent. Honestly, they really should have. The fact that they didn't, I think, was a huge oversight on their part. You know.
Yeah, I think at the time, or maybe still, producers aren't talking to, other producers. The writers aren't coordinating. That's what it seems like. Everyone's writing
Mhm.
their own story. And
They're all
when
living
we
their
need to
best
make it,
lives. Ignoring
yeah,
each
and when
other.
we need to make it meet up, we'll sort something out at that time, kind of thing.
Hmm. So
So,
I don't know. I really did. I did enjoy this episode. But what I really liked about this episode, as much as we've talked about Strand, was I liked the character Will. And I was hoping he would make it, but I knew from the very beginning he was not gonna make it. There was just something about him like, oh yeah, you're gonna die. You know, you're
yeah,
gonna
and
die before the end.
I feel like they lost the opportunity with that character
Mhm.
because he was really good. Like, he made an impact on that show in one episode. And
Mhm.
I would have loved him, like, to see him duke it out with Strand a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But oh well. I mean, I'm sure I would not be surprised if he shows up later in the season in flashbacks, right? When we
Right. Well, and I
see,
can see that, but it's not the
yeah,
same.
it's not. It isn't, but at least we'll see his character again. Maybe if they do
Maybe.
flashbacks to
Well, I can
explain
see
what happened.
Alicia. I can see Alicia flashing back to him a time or two.
Yeah.
Once she finally makes it on the scene. So she
Because,
was.
Will kept making this point about, oh, he did something. That's why they kicked me out. And he kept saying that and never said what it was. I'm like, I want to know what you did. What did
Yeah,
you do?
he did something. Well, and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, it was something that got him pushed out, but something that he felt was redeemable in some way. If he like brought back Strand, or did something, or found this Padre. Um, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't think I don't think he killed anybody. He doesn't seem
Yeah.
like that kind of character. So I'm kind of curious as to what it was that he did do.
I don't know. Who knows? But he was a fun character, or not
Mhm.
fun. That's the wrong word. He was an interesting character, had
He's
my
an interesting
attention for a
character.
minute there. And I liked him. And I was sad that he had to die so quickly.
Mhm. I am
But
too. All right, are we ready to flip over to the show we all hate?
yeah, let's go ahead and talk about World Beyond. Why not?
Well, we're it's on, and we're all here, and we all don't like it, but you know, misery loves company, guys. Misery loves company.
Off the top of my head, I noticed this season, or maybe it's just from the other shows. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing where I got this from, but we were referring to that group as the CRM the whole time. And
Mhm.
now in this show, they're just saying the CR. Like, they've dropped the M. I'm like, so they decided to just call it the Civic Republic and that's it? I don't know what
Well,
the
I
M
think
was
the
before.
CRM is the Civic Republic Military. CR.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
because I'm like, wait, what happened in the change from CRM to CR? I'm like, I just noticed it because they said the CR a lot of times in this
Mhm.
episode.
I think it's the Civic Republic is the name of their group, and the CRM, that's the military arm of that
Yeah, that makes sense.
group. Kind of like the U.S. military, USM.
Hmm. That
So.
makes sense. I don't know. But I think as a whole, the episode was interesting. It wasn't boring for sure, and I think it pushed the plot line a little bit forward. Not a lot,
Mhm.
but just a little, which is good. At least we're not walking around in circles anymore.
Right.
Um,
Well, and everyone kind of knows where everyone is right now too. Not
mhm.
completely, but we're making the connections again.
Yes, and I'm surprised that, okay, so in this episode, finally, um, what's the guy's name? what's the kid's name I'm talking about?
Silas.
Percy and Elton
Okay.
finally made their way back,
Poor Percy
to
lost his armor. Okay, sorry. You know,
Elton lost his armor.
no.
Percy was trying to steal, which
Oh
got
yeah.
them in
Sorry.
trouble.
Sorry. Yes,
Yeah, no
Elton.
problem.
Sorry.
But I'm surprised, like, as soon as they saw them, like, they didn't tell them what happened to them. Because, now here comes Huck and Hope, and those two are looking at Huck like, I'm gonna kill this bitch. She
Hmm.
tried to kill me. And Iris has no idea. Neither does Felix. They're in the dark about what happened to them. I can't believe they didn't spill their guts the minute they saw them.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading the comment about from Cleo. I want to know how Iris couldn't kill Walker 6 weeks ago, but now she's killing CRM soldiers. And why is her hair always combed after being on the road for 6 weeks again?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
these
we
are all
talked about
questions that
that
we've
last
talked
week.
about.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
we don't know, and we're unsure, and we don't like it. That's the answer, Cleo. We don't like it.
And her hair is a part of her rider, I'm sure. She said, "No way, no
Yeah,
how my hair gonna look like it did in season 1." Here we go.
my hair is non-negotiable. Um,
Yes.
Yeah. She she looks really and that's something that we talked about quite a bit last season too, is these guys have been out on the road, they're dusty, they're dirty. How are they in white shirts? How are their shirts white? And they were like, blazingly white.
Mhm.
Like, weeks and weeks and weeks on the road and the dirt and everything else. White shirts. Are you kidding me? Come on, guys. Um,
Costume forgot to dirty them up, and they just
yeah.
sent them out there.
But I mean, you would think anybody would go, excuse me, aren't we supposed to be filthy by now? I mean, look at, the Alexandrians. I mean, they're filthy. Even when
Yeah.
they're clean, they're filthy. The same thing over in The Walking Dead. Even when they're clean, they're filthy. Well, except for Strand. We're not talking that. And, so you just, yeah, it just, as bad as the inconsistencies are on Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, I gotta tell you, when it comes to World Beyond, it makes it for me almost completely unwatchable. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, also, we talked about how, like Strand's place was so, look at the yoga and all this stuff, and the
Mhm.
CR. I mean, come on, it's an apocalypse, and you have time to go for an afternoon jog. Hope's like jogging around at just, let's go
Mhm.
party. We got bottles of alcohol down here. I peeped that out in nice containers. We done
Mhm.
built our little clubhouse. I mean, this is like regular life completely. Changes of clothes.
Mhm.
It's, I don't know. It really I think it removes, it takes me out of it, I think sometimes the scenes
Yeah.
at the CR. It takes me out of what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and with the for the ones that are behind the walls, okay, fine. They're clean. I can see that with the white shirts. I get it. They've got houses and in order and everything else. Okay, fine. But when they're out on the road, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know. And here's the other thing. The brother and sister, that they approached. They knew who they were. They knew who they were.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, "Oh, hey, we've got, you know, what's her name? You know who I'm talking about." Um,
Hope. Yeah. I'm
no, not
sorry, Iris.
Iris. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not Hope, it's Iris. We've got
Yes.
Iris looking for you guys. Um, come on. And instead,
Well,
they gave him two turnips and a thing of water and was gonna send him on his way. That doesn't make any sense to me. You
yeah,
know.
that part was weird, but I totally was on board for what happened to them after Percy tried to steal. And they're like, we're just going to fuck with them a little bit. And I'm not mad at it. Like,
Well, no,
they
but
weren't actually going to injure them, but
No, but at the same time, like I said, they knew who these guys were. They could have said, "Oh, hey." All they had to say was Iris's name. And and I understand. Oh, there's, for the sake of the story, to move it along, to, I don't know, put these two in danger and whatever. I didn't I don't know. And then the flowers in the eye socket was kind of weird.
That was strange, and that's how they started that episode with,
Mhm.
the eyes being dug out with the flowers in it, and I'm like, "Well, who are these people? What is happening?"
Yeah,
And then to find out it's just this little girl doing that, and I'm like, "Well,
with her
it's a
special
little
spoon.
strange."
With her
Mhm.
special spoon. Eyeball
Yeah.
digging spoon.
Lord have mercy. It's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie, but I have this feeling now, maybe Elton has a love interest or something. The way they're flirting and all that, I'm like, "Good lord, here we go." It's like another thing about this show, that constant YA tropey shit that they layer into this show.
Mhm.
And it's like, why? Why are we doing this? It's so stupid. It's not important at all, but you're making me suffer through it.
Mhm. That's it. The entire show is, you're making me suffer through it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and even just things like, going back to, like, Huck and Hope. Hope is like, "Okay, that's it. We're leaving tonight. You're gonna find my family tonight." And she's like, "We can do it tomorrow. It's gonna be tonight." Oh, bitch, please. You can wait, 12 hours. You know,
And she did it. She actually fucking did what she said.
I know. And I was,
Like, why?
no, no. If they're trying to do this without, doing it slyly, then it should be when she's supposed to be going out for patrol anyway.
Yeah. I don't know, because now obviously the guard at the gate was looking at her with the side eye.
Yeah. Well, and she's like, "Oh, I was when your replacement." And apparently Huck and the guy from the killing fields, whatever his name is, apparently did something right before Huck was sent off to the university. And that
Yeah.
was the her whole mission there at the university was her redemption. So it doesn't really say what they did, but apparently they did something really bad.
Yeah, I guess his name is Dennis. And I'm like, "Well, I didn't know apparently that's her husband before the world ended." And I don't recall if it was mentioned, but I'm like, "Oh, he has a wedding ring on."
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, "Okay." And then my first question was, Is it from marrying her, or is it from a wife previous?" Because, people on the show, they do tend to, they shack up, call it married, but they'll keep, like, the wedding rings and stuff from their previous marriages.
Oh, I see.
But then when I saw the pictures of them, I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I guess they could have been there from before." But then again, the CR does have, the technology for pictures. So,
Or maybe they were married after, but
yeah,
um the point is he did something and then she did something, or maybe she backed him up in some kind of way and it got her in trouble.
yeah. So, and he's like, "You can make this right." And she's like, "No, I can't." You know, "No, I can't."
And their scenes together, and I know it's Huck feeling probably guilty or knowing she has something else to do besides trying to reconcile with her husband or boyfriend or whatever. And I don't know. It's just like, she's looking at the dress and, the clothes in the closet, and she's like not wanting to, the whole thing between them was very awkward to me.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, and like I said, I mean, he was asking her to get him out of the doghouse, essentially.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "I can't do that." Well, yeah, you can. No, can't. And then they had the tribunal for Huck, and they're like, "Okay, you're all free and clear now." So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we've got Hope, and she's, I don't know, just, that whole group of kids and stuff, and I guess they're from all the
Drinking.
yeah,
Look, they
drinking,
having a yeah.
but they're from all the different settlements. And they're like, oh no, we get to, or at least some of them get to go home for 2 weeks a year.
Yeah. And they're really smart kids. They're
Hmm.
really like they found the brainiacs of all of them.
Yep.
Like that little debate she and him had about, the process of making or
Oh God.
whatever. Yeah. And it was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't really need to hear that, but sure, I guess this is how they're letting us know that he's as smart as she is." Great.
Well, almost as smart as she is,
Right.
but
Almost.
yeah, I mean, it was yeah, I don't know. It was, and if they're letting these kids go home for 2 weeks a year, why didn't they let her dad go home? Because if he had gone back, nobody would have been suspicious. But him
I
being
think they're
raised
adults. Well, he's an adult and they let kids go home. I think
yeah,
that's the difference.
but he had kids, you know? He had a family. I don't know.
You're
Like I
right.
said,
It's inconsistent, right? It's inconsistent at best. I agree.
mhm,
So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, honestly.
it's I don't know. It's just all gonna be awful. I just keep watching, going, when's Jada's gonna come on? What's she gonna do? What's she gonna say? Come on, give us something. You know?
Speaking of the father, like he annoys me. Every scene where he's like, "I want my daughter," and blah blah blah. He's just like he's not coming off as assertive. He's coming off as whiny to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say whiny. He is very whiny. Um, yeah. Yes, I'm with you. We're just waiting for the Rick crumbs. That's it. We're just waiting for the Rick crumbs. Um,
But those are at the end. We're not going to get any, like, seriously, Grimes girl. I'm with you too on that. But I gotta say, I don't think we're going to get them. We're
no.
not going to get them until the very, very end.
And we're not
And
gonna get I don't think we're gonna see anything until we get until at least Jadis comes on. You
And
know,
honestly, this is the thing that also wouldn't surprise me if we don't even see Jadis until like the mid season finale. I mean, that also wouldn't surprise me if they actually make us wait that long.
I know. Actually, I had this image where it's gonna be we're gonna go this whole half season, and the very last episode, the very last 10 minutes, like Huck or something walk into a room and go, "We need to talk," and Jadis turns around and it fades to black. You know,
Oh my god.
can you see it though?
So, is the end of this show going to be just the sisters and the father and everybody reuniting? Because that's going to be some BS. I'm like, is that what we're doing? And then
I know.
everything else about Rick and Jadis is secondary, and we just get a little, like you said, a little tidbit at the end. I'll be so mad.
Yeah. Oh, I would be too. And I can legitimately say I don't I don't know what this show is supposed to be doing. It was supposed to be this really tight show. It was supposed to like help us start to begin to tie up some loose ends here and there. Um and I don't know. I just don't know. It's not what I was expecting. It was not what I was hoping for. And
Same.
I don't know. It's just bad.
It is bad. And I mean, we spend I don't even want to spend 30 minutes on this show honestly, but we try to give it its fair time. But I don't even want to. I mean, cuz most of the time we're bitching the whole time,
You know.
complaining. So, I don't know. I'm just hanging in there like everyone else for the crumbs and hoping that eventually something will happen of interest that's like, oh, wow, or something, but I'm not counting on it.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, and as if you're looking over at the comments, everyone is saying the same thing. We're not
Yeah,
watching it for this show. We're not watching it we don't really care about any of these kids. You know,
no.
we just want the Rick crumbs. We want to know what's going on. We want to know how this ties into the larger world. And we want to know why the CRM is killing cities. And that's really all we want to know.
Yeah. And I feel like honestly, it's also bad writing, bad storytelling,
Hmm.
because it's not like I'm a stranger to young adult shows, right? I've
Right.
watched young adult shows and enjoyed them immensely. But this one is not hitting in a lot of ways. So I think it's just the writing is not good. Or I don't know if it's the actors they picked. I don't know which one. Maybe a little of both.
I
Or
don't.
maybe it's just frustration because, like everyone is saying, we really just want to know about Rick. So this other stuff is not getting through, because all
Mhm.
we care about is Rick.
Well, if they were doing more world building around the CRM, and if if they had spent more time with less time with these kids traveling to try and get to the CRM to try to get to their dad, and actually just gave them 3 or 4 episodes of the traveling, and then they were swooped up and then taken to the CRM, and the integration started where we could start seeing you know what the CRM is, what it's doing, so we would have a better clue on why they're killing cities, why they're picking all these people, and what it is their end goal is. Where we could
Yeah.
kind of, so we could start, because the CRM is a large enough group at this point that they're going to have some effect on the eventually on the world around them. You know, I'm still blown away by the fact that apparently the CRM and the Commonwealth don't have any connection to each other. At least not that we've
Yeah.
seen, which just
Right.
blows me away because they've got they've got an outpost in Portland, for God's sakes. They know about Portland, but they don't know about the Commonwealth.
Well, again, that's more consistencies about how these different shows are not touching in the universe that they're all supposed to be in, the same universe. But
Right. You know, and,
I don't
and
know.
like I said, they're doing all these experiments, and it seems like they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're trying to get rid of the walkers," but then considering how weird the CRM is that really all they're trying to do, or are they trying to weaponize them in a way that they control them in a way so that they can use them as weapons? And at this point, who are they going to use them against? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know, and oh yeah, we still don't know exactly about the A's versus B's. We made some
Mhm.
assumptions from the
Right.
snippets we saw before. Um but we don't know definitively about the
No.
A's and B's. Uh Yeah, I don't know. It's just and we don't know what the CR's end game is, which is also annoying. But like I said, if they give that to me at the end, or at least when Jadis comes on the scene, maybe she can like provide some more information or backstory. I don't know. It's just meh. It's
Frustrating.
murky. It's murky.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially considering they knew that this was only going to be a 2 season show. And they made this big, huge deal about, that this was the next generation. These were the kids that were, going to take over the world, kind of thing. And what we got is 4 whiny teenagers who just they're a bad CW show, a really bad CW show. You know,
Yeah. Oh my god, that scene where Iris is like trying to help Percy with his bullet wound, and she's
yeah,
like, you've got to take off your shirt for me to get to the exit wound. I'm like, oh my god. Ugh.
yeah. Do you know what you're doing? And she smiles. Yes, I do. Oh, shut up! 6 weeks ago, you would have puked.
I
Okay,
know. Now
I
she's
just
like,
gotta
let
say.
me nurse you back to health, baby. Yes, take the shirt off. That's all she cares about. It's a mess. It's a
Okay,
mess.
and I'm gonna tell you. Do you know what I was obsessed about? The fact that what's his name lost his corduroy armor. Okay,
Oh yeah.
so that's what had my attention this entire episode. Is he gonna get his corduroy back? You think she's gonna give him his
Oh,
corduroy back? I hope he gets his corduroy back. That's
oh
all
yeah.
I cared about.
That girl's gonna use that as leverage over him, and she's gonna give it back to him eventually. He's like, can I get it back? She's like, maybe. So, she'll give it back before he leaves, or after they become friends, or whatever is gonna happen between them. He'll get
Yeah.
it back.
And I agree with you, Erica. I was hoping that the next generation would be more like Judith, and Herschel and RJ and Gracie and those guys, not this group of dimwits. And they're
Dimwits.
supposed to be so smart. If they're so smart, why are they so stupid all the time? You know,
Yeah, I think, and I guess this season they're not making yet as many blatantly, obviously stupid mistakes right now. It's still early though.
right? Well, and
It's still
and again,
early.
they're doing things that they're not explaining to the audience, and none of it's obvious.
Yeah.
Like, why was Iris killing, CRM guys? And
Yeah, like why? What happened there?
yeah, what's going on with that? And what did they do, to, did they set something up so it looked like it was an accident and he fell over the cliff or something? You
Yeah.
know, what was the point of the other walker? Was it, trying to make it look like uh what's it, Finn? No, not Finn. Sorry, different show. Um Guy in the brown jacket. If the two of them.
Elton?
No. Yeah. No.
Who? Who are you talking about?
The one that's with Iris.
Oh, I don't know what his name is. Um, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's right there. I said his name earlier. It's right there. I just can't
Uh-huh.
reach it.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. Someone's gonna tell us in a minute.
I know. I'm
But
waiting for it.
yeah.
I was looking over the
Felix,
Felix.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Cleo. I'm like, I said his name earlier and now it's like left my head.
Yeah, so, they dumped the walker with Felix's jacket over the side, and they dumped the CRM guy over the side. But what was the point of that whole thing? You know? And so they're doing all these things, but none of it's really making a lot of sense.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be a mess when, you know, the CR figures out that they're actually in the artist colony. Isn't that what they're called? The artist colony.
Yeah.
That they've been lied to and all this stuff. So I think that's going to open up something else. But, now that Huck is there kind of like as a, I don't know, like a spy kind of, I guess she's probably going to end up helping them, which might be interesting. I don't know like what her motivation would be to help them either. It's like,
Well, no, because
you
I
did
mean,
all
her
this
whole
shit to get back in their good graces,
right.
right? And
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
and I know that she's kind of got a soft spot for Hope. I get that. But the fact is nothing Hope has done, or nothing that Huck has done up to this point has made any sense.
No.
You know, and I know they made the comment, when you go undercover, you make connections and yada yada, and that's true. That really is true. But still, if she was really feeling remorse, then she would have told them what was up from halfway through their, on the road, ensemble. And she didn't.
Mhm.
And she's still not telling, Hope or her father what's really going on.
Yeah.
And she could, because I know she knows. I know she does. She knows what the big picture is here. Sorry.
And I do agree with another comment. Cleo does not like Huck, and I don't either. I don't think I liked her ever.
No, we didn't like her from the beginning.
No.
I was I don't know. I didn't like her character, or I thought she was kind of shady, and yeah, I don't know. I don't like the show.
Yeah, it's a mess. And we did manage to talk about the mess of this show for
For
30
a half
minutes.
hour,
We
we should
did
be done
it.
now.
Huh?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys. We're trying our best here, but God, everyone in the comment section, everyone listening out there in the world, we all know we all hate this show. We're just
Yeah.
watching it because they made us. They
I
made us
know.
watch this show.
It was like a bait and switch, I feel like.
Yeah. They
Eh,
they're like, "Oh, you got to watch this show," and then all the teasers and stuff, had Jadis and stuff, and all these little breadcrumbs, like, "Oh, we're gonna let you all in on the secret now." No, they're not. No, they're not. You know.
yeah.
So I don't know. We're all just kind of stuck here. Here we are.
We're stuck here until the end. At least we can see the finish line.
Yeah, at least
'Cause
it's not open ended. At least we're not going, oh God, this could go on for 10 years. And if it
oh
did, I
my
couldn't
god.
do it.
I'd have
I,
to
I
bail. I'd have to bail.
I would just honestly at that point, I would just, start looking around for, highlight reels of, the Easter eggs that we should know about. you know.
Right. Yeah, they played
So
us, fool me once, okay, got it. Now we just have to see how these Rick movies turn out because I'm telling you, these movies better be freaking good. How long
mhm,
it took them to write these scripts, how long it took for this to like come together to even begin like
mhm.
production and stuff, they better deliver.
Oh, they better, or we're all gonna be mad.
Yeah.
There's You're gonna hear us howl, all the way from here to the studio.
I mean, all the fans that have dedicated years and years of their life to this show, they're all gonna have a conniption.
Mhm. Give us our
So,
payoff. Give us our big payday. We
yeah.
deserve it. We have been dedicated followers, okay? And we want our payday.
Yes. And oh, speaking of that, since we are new on YouTube, I meant to let everyone know that Lisa and I, have been doing these recaps for years. Years.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear, like, if you're rewatching some episodes or something and you want to hear, like, what we thought of a past episode, you can definitely find it. The link is in the show notes and it's in our podcast feed. So we were definitely doing this a long time before we came to YouTube. So if you're
Mhm.
interested in the old episodes or something, definitely feel free to check those out.
Okay, just so that you guys all know, when it comes to Fear the Walking Dead, I watched half of the first season and then refused to watch any more until they killed off what's her name? Till they killed off most of them actually. I didn't like any of them.
You
The
like the
ori-
crackhead, as you call
I
him,
like
Nick, aka the crackhead,
the junkie,
the
you know,
junkie.
heroin addict.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the heroin addict. You
yeah,
know, that was it. And I'm like, I'm not watching a show because I like the addict. You know,
right, right.
so you know, we don't have any podcasts for Fear the Walking Dead until season 4, really.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
just letting you all know that one. I
Yes,
couldn't
but you can
stand the
go back
mother.
pretty far for the other stuff.
Yeah,
So
Madison. I hated her. Oh my god, I hated this woman to the depths of my soul. I did not like her.
you did not, and I just was also really angry when people kept talking about Madison's not dead. She's coming back. I'm like, shut up. What are
She's
you saying?
dead. She's staying dead. Okay. All right. As far as I'm concerned, even if she shows up on the show, she's not going to be real. I'm not going to acknowledge her existence on the show. Just letting you guys
Yeah,
know.
they better not do that. Do not play me like that. I feel like let the woman stay dead.
Exactly.
Let's see.
Oh,
Okay, let's see. So Cleo says, and they had better give me some good Rashawn Love scene for making me watch this mess. Nick was my favorite character on Fear early seasons. I hate Madison too. Yes, we
yeah.
all did. Well, there are some diehards from Madison, and I don't understand their way of thinking. Like, why do they like her so much? Like, they thought like the watchers at large thought she was shitty when she was on the show, but when she was off the show, it was like this like little group of people that watched it were all like, "Oh, Team Madison, Madison!" Like, what is happening? Y'all
Yeah.
hated her when she was on the show.
Exactly. I hate it. She's one of the prime. I mean, like I said, I made it to half a season on the first season, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't watch this woman anymore because I can't reach through the TV and slap her, you know? And I didn't like she made really stupid mistakes and she was I don't know, she was just unlikable and unbelievable, you know?
Yeah.
And and the only character like I said I liked was Nick, the heroin addict. And
And I can't say, like, you know how sometimes will, you want to rewatch stuff. I have rewatched The Walking Dead. I have gone back to the
Mhm.
beginning and watched old episodes of The Walking Dead. I would never do that with Fear. Those early episodes, those early seasons were trash.
Mhm.
I would not go back and rewatch that. I don't think I would rewatch further back than when Morgan came to the show
Right. And it wasn't even just Morgan. I really liked the new characters they brought in
in that same season. That
in
same
that same
season.
season. They brought in a lot of these new characters. I love the
Hmm.
gunslinger, you know, John Dory,
Yeah,
and you know, and I didn't care quite so much about June, but I really love John Dory. You
yeah.
know, and I especially love the scenes with Morgan and John Dory together. I thought they were really good on screen together. But it
Hmm.
was
Absolutely.
but they had these other characters that they brought in, and I'm like, yeah, I really like, the how it's feeling now. And
Hmm.
and I think I told you back when, like, okay, Morgan's going over there, so I'm gonna give it a half a season, and if I can stand it, I'll keep watching. And
Hmm.
uh, and I did. I've been watching it ever since. But yeah, I couldn't even begin to go back to to those previous seasons, and I'd probably gag. You
There are some comments about, I guess they have a fan base for Alicia too.
Mhm.
But I don't have such disdain for Alicia's character. I think like she's not my favorite, but I definitely don't hate her or anything.
Right.
I think that might also be some of my softness for the actress because I really liked her on the 100. So I'm waiting for like
Mhm.
her to be awesome as Alicia. And I think she's been better. I feel like, again, the Alicia in the early seasons is not the Alicia we have now.
No,
So,
she's not. She's not nearly as whiny or petulant and,
no,
pain in the assy.
right. So she has a lot of character development. And I do like her now. I mean, she's not my
Mhm.
favorite character, but I definitely don't have any big issues with her.
Oh, poor Grimes girl. He's watched it from the or she, she's watched it from the beginning. Oh,
Yeah, same
man,
as
that took some
me.
dedication. You know, I applaud you, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
It was rough early on, but I was in it to win it. I wanted to watch it,
I get you.
So I'm glad I was able to talk you back into the fold after, the whole Morgan thing. I'm like, yes, you're gonna check it out again. Winning.
Mhm.
I was very happy.
Alrighty. Shall
Yes.
we end
All right.
this? We've been on here for, a little over an hour now. So I
Yes,
think, let people go have
it's
their
a good
lives and
place.
stuff.
Yes, it's a good place to end. It's been a good chat today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us live. We appreciate you for being here.
We
Of
love your
course,
comments.
yes, we do love your comments. And of course, we will be back here again next week, same time. And if you need to listen on a replay, it will be available on the YouTube channel as well as other podcast platforms. And it'll be cleaned up and tightened up on the podcast platform. So you can enjoy
Mhm.
that at your leisure. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks again for joining us. And we will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Bye bye.